So you should be seeing the Bondi Association dashboard. Is that right?
Yep.
Perfect. Great. So when you say different colors, is that what you mean on the actual calendar that you see here?
No, I'm on contacts at the moment.
Okay. So the different colors. So the colors are just the different contact cards. They don't necessarily mean anything. It's just to differentiate people. You'll notice that as people start to come in, they might upload a profile picture for themselves.
Okay.
Great. So what you're seeing here, I guess, let me just take a step back and let's go into our dashboard before we get into things. This is basically your snapshot of everything that's going on in your Tidy dashboard. So you can see active members, any new members that have come up, any that are due to expire, contacts that you've added, any outstanding tasks, and that's from across the platform in different areas and functions, as well as a finance summary up at the top right. What's really powerful is this calendar view here. So that's bringing together all of the different areas of the platform. So everything from finances, so you're seeing invoices, expenses, transactions, which are color coded. You can see upcoming events and past events that you have, as well as meetings, and then tasks. So those are the task due dates, all plotted out, which makes it really nice and easy to manage. I have seen organizations actually kind of take a screenshot of this and use that to share around if they are wanting to share that calendar view with others who aren't really part of the committee or won't have access to this as well.
Okay. So can you filter it out so you're not showing certain things if you want to do that, if you want to take the screenshot, because you might not want to show what invoices.
Yes, so if you just click them like that.
Yeah, right.
So
I think I'd say that we will probably continue to run all our finances through a separate system.
Okay.
But primarily this will be used for meetings and tasks.
Okay, great. Meetings and tasks. What are you using for your finances at the moment?
It's not MYOB, it's the other big platform, cloud-based one.
Xero?
Xero.
Okay, so we do have an integration with Xero. So this is good if, so it's a one-way integration that allows us to sync any transactions that have been done in Tidy and push that over to Xero. So if you have any paid events, for instance, or paid memberships, you can sync those transactions over into your Xero account.
Okay, that could be useful because we've got, say, 500 odd offices across the network.
Okay.
We actually want all of our members in there, but we want to know who's paid and who hasn't, and then who are not members. Those people, few who are not members. So
okay.
Yeah. So
how do you?
Could be useful. We might use that.
Okay. How do you handle your memberships at the moment? So say someone who is the hope that you would eventually move them all over to Tidy to handle your memberships, or are you handling that through another system?
Currently, we take them. Currently we take them a different way. It's a bit convoluted and complex. We'll probably stick with it at the moment.
Okay.
Because we use the corporate team.
Okay.
To take our memberships fees.
Okay.
That's just easier at the moment. We might change that in 2 or 3 years' time.
Okay.
But it's not immediate.
Okay. So then your contacts, I'm guessing then you have spreadsheets of contacts or some way that you're keeping track of them, and you will be importing them into our system?
Yeah, that's right. We're just trying to get an up-to-date spreadsheet. The one we've got's a couple of years old.
Yeah, no worries at all. You can, it doesn't necessarily have to be all in one spreadsheet. We actually recommend that you kind of divide them up. So say you had different groups of different member types, for instance, or you probably want to import them based on those groupings. So have different sheets for each. but I can get into that as we get into contacts. Did you have any questions, any other questions on this dashboard view that you see here?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay, I will just get into really quickly the organization settings. It sounds like Penny may have set up yours already, but if you do need to change anything or update anything at any point, organization settings is where you'll find that. So that's where you can set up your organization name, domain, all of your contact details, as well as your socials. If you
How did you get to that?
I went to organization settings, and
Oh,
that brings
down
you
below.
into organization details.
Yeah, right.
And then we also have logos and colors. So if you ever have to update your logo at any point, you can do that here simply by uploading a file. And then there's also the set color scheme, which will be reflected in your public page as well. So right now we're looking, just to take a step back, we're looking at the backend administration side of things. So only those who have been invited as admin users will have access to this. The other part of that, which is your web page or your public page, this is what members of your community will see, or yeah, any of your members. So it's completely customizable in terms of any of the content that you have up here. We'll get into that as we get into the web pages section, but just wanted to make sense of the dashboard page versus the public page. So let's go back into the admin dashboard, and you can just toggle between the two by covering over your little profile here. And I'm switching into admin dashboard. So going into contacts, one more thing in organization settings, sorry. This may have already been set up by Penny, but you also have your payment settings. So we integrate with Stripe and OpenPay. If you'd like to set up Stripe, well, this one's already connected, but it would simply be connect to Stripe and then connecting your account with your login details. So once you have set up Stripe, that carries through to all of the other paid sections of the platform. So you only have to set it up once, and that will be the payment gateway then for your memberships, any paid events that you have, or any paid items in your shop as well.
Okay.
Great. So let's get into contacts then. So what we've done here with contacts is, I guess when Isaac had built the platform, he really saw that one of the shortcomings with the way that organizations or clubs are traditionally run is that contacts are sitting with a number of different people across a number of different tools. So some people have in a spreadsheet, some people have, say, a sponsorship contact in their phone. And as these people turn over in the committee, a lot of that knowledge is lost, or it's really difficult to get a hold of that information. So the point of our contact section, which kind of forms the backbone of TidyHQ, is to have all of your contacts. So anyone that interacts with your organization, so that that's members, if you have past members that you want to include in there, any sponsors or vendors that you work with, they can all live in here. Just so it's really easy for everyone within your committee or your board to find that information. So I'll just show you what we have in here. Let's look for John. So let's start with John Doe. Let's take a look at his contact card. So you can see here that we have all of his contact details. Everything here is something that we've either imported or someone has completed. It could be through a custom field when signing up for a membership. You can see all of the groups that John is part of. So these groups would be a group that he was uploaded into, or it could be a smart group that was automatically created, say from attending a particular event, or say you wanted members from each year rolled into a broad group just called all members. You can do that as well. So you can see, so we've done something similar here for John. So he's part of all contacts and a number of different groups that we have.
So we we have regions.
Yep.
And all each member office is, inside a region. So I'm ACT in Southern New South Wales. There'd be a list of business owners that fit in those regions, and I represent them.
Okay.
So, and that would be the case with each of the councils. They each represent a bunch of owners.
Yep.
So can we somehow tag them or put them in somehow under that, or connect them to that councillor, that board member?
Yeah. So I would, if I'm importing them, I would have a field or a column dedicated to, say, that group name or that region, and you can create groups off of that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that you have to have all of your planning done up front. And I know I'm creating groups A, B, and C upon import. If a month from now you realize, oh, we actually need to add this other region, or there's another type of grouping that we want to create, you can create those groups on the fly based on information that you have in the database already.
That'll probably happen. We're not that organized.
Yeah, no one ever is. I think everyone usually just tries to get those contacts imported pretty quickly so they can start sending out information, sending out emails, and then it's afterwards that you think, oh, actually, it would be really great to be able to always reach out to this particular group that's divided in this way. So yeah, that's why we've designed it, so it's pretty flexible.
Can we put notes in here if we talk to that?
Yeah.
Contact?
Yes. So that's just scrolling down here. So you can see, first off, the active memberships that John has, and then links. So this is if you had people who are linked to one another. This is more for clubs or groups where there's family memberships or parents and children. That's really useful. But then we do have this notes section here. So this is great if you have different members of your board reaching out to certain people and you want to make sure that, Penny knows that I actually spoke to John yesterday about his overdue membership fees, and you want to leave a note, you can just simply do that in here.
And where does that, where can I then see that?
So that will just be then visible in the notes section of each person. Yeah. And then you can also see an activity feed here. So everything that I've done, or everything that's being related, or sorry, anything that John has done, or anything that's been related to John. So for instance, I had invited him to a committee meeting. I had added him to an invoice, for instance.
So going back to that list of contacts, where it had, I don't know if you can go back there, but
yep.
So where it's got contact ID, number, email, phone, work phone, home phone, gender, can we choose different fields to appear there?
Yes, so we have this displayed fields. Yeah, so you can choose. So you can see here that we've imported a lot of different things, but if there's kind of a finite list that you want to be able to reference quite easily, yep, you can customize that.
Cool. Yeah, I'd want to put region and office name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Right. I'll just go back into John's contact. I'll just also show you the finances section. So you can see the finances related to each person within your contact list as well, and all of the transactions they've done. So very easy to see that. And I'm going back into our contact screen. We also have filtering. So if you wanted to filter your contacts, let's go by gender. Let's find all the females in this group. You can see that over here, and then you could always save that as a smart group. So that means anyone new that you're adding to the database will automatically become part of the female group. So I guess the difference between a group versus a smart group, a group would just be kind of a point in time group. So if you just want that to be unchanged, you want all of the females that are part of your contact list right now versus a smart group where it's an ongoing update of all the females that are part of your contact list now, and then all of the future added ones.
Okay.
So that's really helpful. And then another thing about contacts. So then again, going into groups, how you can do that. So you can see here all of the groups that I've created, and then down the right, you can see all of the people that are part of those groups.
Yep. And people can be part of multiple groups.
Yes, yes. So it's not that groups have to be mutually exclusive. You could have a group of females and then a group of anyone, say 20 to 25. So you can slice and dice your database as many times as you'd like.
Is this the best way to group together the regions and group together the members, you know, across the nation and the non-members?
Yes, yes, that would be the way to do it. I'll just show you. So if you're going to create a new group, for instance, you'll just need a title if you wanted to have an image or a description. Description's great. So if you have multiple members on your board who'll be looking at this and the title itself isn't self-explanatory, I usually include a lot of detail in the description. Say, for instance, if it was a static group, when that group was created, who that includes, when the import date was, all of the details there. So it's really easy to see. You can choose populate from. So if it's coming from a number of other groups, you can add that. And then you could actually create, so say you wanted all of your contacts in the ACT, and you actually wanted them to be available via email, via an email address, you can actually set that up as well.
So if I send an email to that email address from my Outlook, do they all get it?
Yes, yes. So if you're going to be using the group messaging function, yes. So that's it's not something that you have to use, but some groups find that useful. So if you're, let's say you're some sort of school committee, and you always wanted to reach out to teachers, and you wanted that email to be available to other people, you might then allow for group messaging and do teachers, and then their tidy email address.
Do they all receive that BCC?
Let me double check. I believe so.
And what's the reply to address?
So the reply to address will be your tidy email. So this one is, so I think yours was, so it will be your tidy account name at mail.tidyhq.com. Because our account is called demo.
Where do I receive that?
Oh, so that will be received in your communicate section.
Yeah, right. So it's another inbox I need to check.
Yeah, so this would be anything going out for, anything kind of on a group basis. So this is a common inbox that we use. So yeah, you would need to check this one.
Is there a way that I can set those up to auto forward to my council address?
So if you wanted just there's kind of two areas of our communicate function. So this is the group inbox. So we've had it so that everything is collected here, so that anyone on your board would be able to check it and see what's being sent out and kind of track things that way. But if you wanted your vice president email, that would, if we're going into our admins and roles, for example, so say you're Joe. Oops. So as a member of your committee or your board, you'll have this role you can create. So just for people who have a role within the committee or the board, you would assign their contact to that role, and then you can allow for messaging. So if it was, VP dot your organization name at mail.tidyhq.com. And that would automatically forward those. So that would be if an email, if you didn't have a VP email already set up, but you wanted to be able to share that VP email publicly, like say on your TidyHQ website, but you didn't want to check another inbox, you can have that. This will forward that to your personal email if you didn't want to publish your personal email.
Oh, we publish our personal emails. It's just that if we're doing a broadcast message out of Tidy, I'd rather the replies came to the inbox already have set up for council. So because we've all got an at ljhfoc.com email address.
Okay.
And most of us have 4 inboxes as it is, so I don't want to check another one.
Yeah. So would that be then just one person would be handling all of the communications for your entire committee then? Yeah, because there would be one reply to email. Yeah, so it's if someone's just sending to you directly, then having this VP email forwarded to your personal email works. But if it's going to be, I'll have to double check if we can actually forward the entire like the reply to Tidy email, if that could even be forwarded to another person's email account, but I think it would have to be one person.
Okay, all right. We've got time to figure all this out. We won't be sending out any sort of circulars through this until, well, at least 2 months at least.
Okay. Let me check on that. I'll just make a note. Okay. That's good. And then is there anything else in contacts? Any other questions on contacts? I guess I'll just take you into the import screen really quickly. So this is really, this is really straightforward. We've designed this so that I know it's always difficult when you're trying to import something and your spreadsheet isn't quite formatted in the exact same way and your columns aren't labeled in the exact order as the example. So we've created this so that it's fairly flexible. So you just need to say where your sheet is coming from the source, a CSV file you'll need. And then you just choose your file here. So for example, let's just use this sheet. I'm going to upload this and it will pick up on the column names that you have. So this is, and you'll just need to assign this to a field that's within the Tidy system. So everything that you're seeing down below is what's in your spreadsheet, and what you're seeing up top is how you're going to match that up within the Tidy system. So say company name correlated to first name. And I'm just going to pretend that that this data doesn't actually correlate to anything. And then you had a phone or your work phone, and then your gender, for instance. And if you have,
Oh, sorry, keep going.
Oh, and I was just going to say, so if you have something, if there's a column that you've just added kind of on the fly and you're like, oh, I haven't actually created a custom field for that yet, you can create a new custom field here. So you just need the title, any additional text that might describe what that field's about. And then you have all of the different options for the import type. So it could just be text, it could be a checkbox, could be a date, drop down, whatever you're seeing here.
Where did you start that from?
So if you're doing this from the import screen, you'll just scroll all the way to the bottom and it will say new custom field.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can just do that within the import section.
So your spreadsheet or your CSV file there only has 5 columns.
Yeah.
Ours has about 25 columns.
Yes, we'll be able to support that.
So to just scroll sideways?
Yes, it'll just scroll sideways.
Okay.
And you can create new custom fields on the fly. I will take you into another screen that shows you if you kind of wanted to plan more of your custom fields, or if you were ever handling memberships through Tidy and you wanted to create custom fields upon membership registration, you can do that there. But I will just mention that. So the reason why I would separate my imports into different groupings, any groupings that I know of now. So say I had a spreadsheet per region, and that way I could create a contact group for that region really easily.
Our spreadsheet has headings through it. So
Yeah.
do I have to remove those headings?
So if it's a first row, you can just use that, use first row as header, and then you can keep those in. And that actually helps you when you are doing the import. So for instance, in the example that I have here, my first row actually tells me what each of those fields are. So I can see that's company name, company last seen, number of people, for instance.
Yeah. Okay. So ours has headings all the way through it, but I could just delete those. So
yeah, so if it was just one row of headings, the use first row as header function is great. But if you have multiple layers of headings, I would just limit that to the one row.
okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back into import. You can see all of the different historical imports that we've done. If you find that you've imported something, you're like, oh, actually, this isn't the most up-to-date sheet and I'd prefer to do it again, you could always use the rollback function as well. So it's not set in stone. It can be undone. And then when something is completed, if you just click on details, you can see who was imported and the status of that.
Well, can you how far down the track can you roll it back? Like if someone accidentally clicks on that 4 years later and they click roll back, do we lose a whole bunch of stuff?